Let's continue to read Zephaniah chapter 2. Gather together, gather together, O shameful nation, before the appointed time arrives. On that day sweeps on like chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's wrath comes upon you. Seek the Lord, all you humble of the land, you who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger. So listen to this, because this is so important. This is so important. This is so important, past, present, and future. Listen to what he says. Before the appointed time arrives, and that day sweeps on like chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord comes upon you, before the day of the Lord's wrath comes upon you, seek the Lord, all you humble of the land, you who do what he commands. Seek righteousness, seek humility. Perhaps you will be sheltered on the day of the Lord's anger. So, in some cases, yes, there were people that the Lord said there are going to be some to the famine, some to the plague, some to the sword, and some to be exiled. And the some to be exiled, a lot of them did worship the Lord. They did listen to the Lord, and therefore they still were exiled because there was no full commitment there. We talked about it. There were years and years and years of not doing the Sabbath, not doing proper worship. So yeah, okay. But the Lord was with them, and the Lord was with them even to and through exile, to guide them, to love them, to protect them. So they weren't completely destroyed. In fact, once again, just like in Egypt, they grew in numbers again, and they were able to go back out of exile to rebuild the temple. And so even though they make mistake, they made those mistakes, they sought the Lord was with them, the Lord was their guide, their shepherd, and their protector, bringing past to present, and that is still the same today. Having a closer walk with the Lord helps prevent the sin, right? Helps, it absolutely does. Absolutely, positively, because you're living in the Spirit. We're living in the Spirit. We're living with the Lord in love. And so those sinful thoughts, those temptations have no power. They have no authority. They have no power. They have no sway in us. And then we get tempted, or we get into situations where those things come, the tempter comes, the thoughts and ideas come, and there you go. Something happens, or we even think, because we'll get to a place in the New Testament that's controversial about even a thought, because some people some scholars, some preachers and priests and people believe that a thought is not a sin. And then some, because of how it's worded, we'll get to, is, yeah, even a thought is sin. For instance, lust. And there's a particular verse that we're going to go over in the New Testament that comes up, because it mentions it. It mentions even thoughts. So, but anyways, for now, here we are, Zephaniah telling the people, seek the Lord. I know it can be difficult. I had an issue. And when I had that issue, I was happy that it wasn't worse. I praised the Lord that it wasn't worse, because I felt that I somewhat deserved it, because of knowing who I am, and knowing who the Lord is. And sometimes we can get that way. We can get where we feel like we deserve something bad to happen to us. When you get like that, when you do feel that way, Know that the Lord, he's there and he cares, and he's full of love. And that's why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling now, because he knows. And when we look at ourselves in the mirror, sometimes we get disgusted with what things go on in our lives. But the Lord utilizes that to help strengthen us. He turns those things around for us. Not only does he turn them around, but he wipes them clean so that we can be full reflections, continue to be full reflections of his love. So I urge you, and I tell you, I cheer you on to seek the Lord in his wisdom and his love. Seek his forgiveness. Help others to do so as well. Because looking at ourselves, we can look real ugly sometimes. Have you ever seen a video of yourself, or seen something, or just remembered an action or incident or a communication that you had, and you just regretted it? There's a reason for that, because we may have not been seeking the Lord at that time. We may have been just acting on our own thoughts and feelings and desires and ambition instead of seeking the Lord. So seek the Lord and his guidance at all times, because he's full of love, and he's there to give you that hug, allow for you to cry or scream or do whatever, because he knows that we're human. He knows that we have feelings and we go through things, but he's there to give us that warmth and that peace back. Before we go on, though, what kind of thoughts or feelings come to your mind when we read over this? How does it make you feel, and what does it make you think?